And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 8 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, Ramona, Tanya, twins, Elena and Ella, and Nina. Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, Ramona, Tanya, Ella, Elena, and Nina made Cinderella do all the chores, sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, Ramona, Tanya, Elena, Ella, and Nina all together. One day, the king of Quadra, the Cuppingham's messengers rise and says, Hear ye, the king of Quadra, the Cuplingham is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Quadra the Coupling. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Fiona. Ophelia said, No way, Fiona, he's going to marry me. Ursula said, Both of you are wrong, he's going to marry me. Ramona said, All 3 of you are wrong, he's going to marry me. The rest said, All 4 of you are wrong, he's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is so sad doing chores that she can't go to the ball and marry Prince Quadra the Coupling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and asks Cinderella what's wrong by saying, Why are you crying, Cinderella? In which Cinderella responds, I have lots of chores to be done, but I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Quadra the Coupling. Cinerella's fairy godmother said, I can help with a bit of magic, and waves her magic wand. Because of that, Cinerella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some ice. Luckily, Cinderella has 14 pumpkins and 28 mice. Cinerella's fairy godmother waved her magic wand again to turn the 14 pumpkins into a handsome coach, the 28 mice into horses for the coach to drive, and Cinerella's red clothes into a gown and crown. Cinderella said, I've never seen such a fantastic gown. Get a load of my glass slippers, and hopped onto the coach. Her fairy godmother said, Have fun, Cinderella, but I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will change back to the way it was before. And gave her a clock to tell her what time it is. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Quadra the Coupling was wondering who he should marry. Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, Ramona, Tanya, Elena, Ella, and Nina say he's walking towards me all together, but he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Quadra the Coupling dance happily together. But when Cinderella checks her clock, it's almost midnight! So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost both of her glass slippers. Prince Quadra the Coupling was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled all around Quadra the Coupling had to find her and brought the 2 glass slippers with him. By the time he arrives, he knocks on the door of the home where Cinderella and her 8 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters. But instead of 14erella, he finds her 8 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters. Prince Quarter-Cumbling then said, "Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on these glass slippers?" Fiona is first, but her feet are too big. Ophelia is next, but her feet are too small. The rest did the same thing, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, Prince Quarter-Cumbling notices 14erella's singing. The glass slippers fit! 14erella gets so excited because she's happy to have Prince Quarter-Cumbling back. And then, Prince Quarter-Cumbling and 14erella lived happily ever after. The end. I hope this was a fun story, Andrew Stewards. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merchandise at andrewdoeseverything.com. Take care. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 28erella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a plot twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young adult girl named 28erella. 28erella had 11 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Tina, Winona, Elena, Nina, Tanya, Yadina, Ella, India, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha. All 11 of them constantly made fun of 28erella and made her do all the chores. 28er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes and windows, do it all! Said the 11 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters all together. And then one day, the king of Ottavidget Tumblingham's messenger arrives and says, "Hear ye, hear ye! The king of Ottavidget Tumblingham, his royal majesty, is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Ottavidget Tumbling." "Can I come?" asks 28erella. But she's not invited to the ball. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are Tina, Winona, Elena, Nina, Tanya, Yadina, Ella, India, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha ran with huge excitement and picked out dresses to wear to the ball. But 28erella feels left out. "He's going to marry me," said Tina, the oldest stepsister. "No way, Tina, wrong. He's going to marry me," said Winona. "Both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me," said Elena. All the rest of the stepsisters disagree and say, "All 3 of you are wrong. Prince Ottavidget Tumbling is going to marry me." Later, 28erella is so sad, distraught, and upset about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Ottavidget Tumbling. "Whatever will I do?" she whimpers. 28erella's fairy godmother arrives and comforts her. There, 28erella. I'll fix everything for you. And you'll become a princess so no one will know it's you," she said. She then waves her magic wand. Because of that, 28erella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, "28erella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice." Luckily, 28erella has 28 pumpkins and 56 mice. 28erella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again. to turn the 28 pumpkins into a handsome coach, the 56 mice into horses, and then 28 Arella's fairy reclines into a gown and crown, and a pair of glass slippers appear on her feet. I've never seen such an auto-vegetable-tastic gown! And get a load of my glass slippers! Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? Said 28 Arella, and climbs into the coach. 28 Arella's fairy godmother said, well, you can't, but have fun, 28 Arella. But I will warn you to return home before midnight. That's when the spell will be broken, and everything will change back to the way it was before. And so, 28 Arella accepted the warning. At the ball, the king of Auto-Vegetable asks, wondering who to marry, Prince Auto-Vegetable? To which Prince Auto-Vegetable himself responds, yes, father. 28 Arella arrives at the ball just in time. Prince Auto-Vegetable sees her, walks straight towards her and says, you must be 28 Arella. May I please have this dance? Yes, said 28 Arella, overjoyed, and so she and Prince Auto-Vegetable dance happily together. Tina, Winona, Elena, Nina, Tanya, Yadina, Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha watched them jealously as they wanted Prince Otto to fall in love with them. They shout all together. But soon, 28 Arella realizes someone was missing, so she screamed out of the ball, and she ran so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. The next day, the king of Auto-Vegetable and Prince Auto-Vegetable traveled all around the neighborhood trying to find 28 Arella, who had captured Prince Auto-Vegetable's heart and brought the 2 glass slippers she lost with them. By the time they arrived, they knocked on the door of the house where 28 Arella and her 11 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 28 Arella, they find Tina, Winona, Elena, Nina, Tanya, Yadina, Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha. Prince Auto-Vegetable then says, ladies, my father, the king of Auto-Vegetable, and I have a favor to ask. Can any try on these glass slippers? Tina is first, but her foot is too big. Winona is next, but her feet are too small. Nonsense! They fit, she said. The rest did the same, but none of their feet fit either. Suddenly, the king of Auto-Vegetable and Prince Auto-Vegetable noticed 28 Arella singing. She looks rather familiar. Prince Auto-Vegetable and your majesty, is that you guys? She hollered excitedly. 28 Arella, my dear daughter Ella, we found you, exclaims the king of Auto-Vegetable, and the glass slippers fit. The king of Auto-Vegetable, Prince Auto-Vegetable, 28 Arella, who transforms back into a princess, then lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrews Doers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and enter us everything, and buy our merchandise at enterthering.com. I know I completed the 20s and maybe the 30s later. Take care. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 42 Arella. It is based on the story of Cinderella, with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young adult girl named 42 Arella. 42 Arella had 8 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Farah, Olivia, Ramona, Tanya, Yvonne, Tasha, Winona, and Una. All 8 of them constantly made fun of 42-year-old and made her do all the chores. 42, wench, sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said the ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters all together. One day, the king of 42 birds' messenger arrives and says, "Hear ye, hear ye! The king of 42 Berg is going to throw a ball and with lots of food at 9 o'clock. And 11 o'clock is dance time. And whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son. Prince, do a quadrigen toppling." "Can I come?" asked 42-year-old, but she's not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters Farah to Una are. "He's going to marry me," said Farah, the oldest stepsister. "No way, Farah." "Wrong, he's going to marry me," said Olivia. "Both of you are wrong, he's going to marry me," said Ramona. The rest say, "All 3 of you are wrong, he's going to marry me." Later, 42 Arella is so sad, upset, and distraught about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Dua Quadrigen Toppling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and comforts her. There now, 42 Rella. I can help with a bit of magic. Nobody will know it's you." And so, she waves her magic wand. And because of that, all 42 Rella's chores are all done, and her best party dress is fixed and made bigger and better. 42 Rella says, "I've never seen such a dual quadrigen tastic gown! And get a load of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough?" But 42 Rella's fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, "42 Rella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice." Luckily, 42 Rella has 42 pumpkins and 84 mice. 42 Rella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 42 pumpkins into a handsome coach and the 84 mice into horses. 42 Rella climbs into the coach. Her fairy godmother says, "Have fun, 42 Rella, but I will warn you, return home before midnight or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to normal." And so, 42 Rella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Dua Quadrigen Toppling was wondering who he should marry. "Wondering who to marry, son?" asks the king of 42 Berg, in which Prince Dua Quadrigen Toppling says, "Yes, father, I don't know who." Suddenly, 42 Rella arrives at the ball just in time. Farah, Olivia, Ramona, Tanya, Yvonne, Tasha, Winona, and Una say all together, "He's walking towards me!" But he's not walking towards any of them. Prince Dua Quadrigen Toppling is walking towards 42 Rella. He then asks, May I please have this dance?" "I would be delighted," said 42 Rella. Prince Dua Quadrigen Toppling and 42 Rella dance happily together. But later, 42 Rella realized it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince Dua Quadrigen Toppling was so worried that he might never see 42 Rella again. The king of 42 Bergs comforts him by saying, There now, son. I think we'll be able to find 42 Rella," he said. And so, they began their journey all around the neighborhood to find her and brought the 2 glass slippers she lost with them. By the time they arrive, they knock on the door at the house where 42 Rella and her 8 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters, Tina to Ona, Farah to Una live. But instead of 42 Rella, they find Farah to Una. They then say, Prince Dua quadruple tumbling. Ladies, my father and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper? Slippers? Farah is first, but her feet are too big. Olivia is next, but her feet are too small. Nonsense! They fit! She said. The rest did the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, the king of 42 Berg and Prince Dua quadruple toppling noticed 42 Ella singing. Prince Dua quadruple toppling and your majesty is going to throw. Is that you guys? The king of 42 Berg exclaims, my dear daughter-in-law, 42 Arella, we found you! And the glass slippers fit. And now, 42 Arella, Prince quadruple toppling, and the king of 42 Berg lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrew's Doers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and Andrew Does Everything, and buy our merchandise at AndrewDoesEverything.com. Take care. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 21 Arella. It is based on the story of Cinderella, with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young adult girl named 21 Arella. 21 Arella had 9 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Tina, Winona, Elena, Nina, Tanya, Irina, Olivia, Nadia, and Erica. 9 of them made fun of 21 Arella and made her do all the chores. 21 wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! Said the stepsisters all together. One day, the king of Tumbleham's messenger arrives and says, hear ye, hear ye! The king of Tumbleham, his majesty, is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Tumbling. But 21 Arella is not welcome. Her 9 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. They then argue over who will marry Prince Tumbling. Later, 21 Arella is so sad, upset, and distraught about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Tumbling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arises and comforts her. There now, 21 Arella. I can help with a bit of magic. No one will know it's you. And so, she chants the magic words, Unvegetitity, on Voo, and waves her magic wand. Because of that, 20 Arella's chores are all done, and she now has a dress grown bigger and better. 21 Arella says, I've never seen such an vegetable-tastic gown! And get a load of my glass slippers! But 21 Arella's fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 21 Arella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. And then, luckily, 21 Arella has 21 pumpkins and 42 mice. 21 Arella's fairy godmother chants the magic words. Unvegetitity, on Voo, and waves her magic wand to turn the 21 pumpkins into a handsome coach and 42 mice into horses. Cinderella climbs into the coach. Her fairy godmother says, have fun, 21 Arella. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to normal. And so, 21 accepts the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Ufidgetubling was wondering who he should marry. 21 arrives at the ball just in time. Tina, Winona, Elena, Nina, Tanya, Dina, Olive, Nadia, and Erica say all together. Olivia, he's walking towards me! But he's not walking towards any of them. Prince Ufidgetubling is walking towards 21. May I have this dance? As Prince Ufidgetubling, to which 21 says, I would be delighted. Prince Ufidgetubling and 21 dance happily together. But later, 21 realizes it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Ufidgetubling was so worried that he might never see 21 again. The king of Ufidgetubling had comforted him by saying, There now, son. I think we'll be able to find 21 he said. And so, they began their journey all around the neighborhood to find 21 and brought the glass slipper she lost with them. By the time they arrived, they knocked at the door at the house where 21 and her 9 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 21 they find her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters, Tina and Erica. Prince Ufidgetubling then says, Ladies, my father and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper? Tina is first, but her foot is too big. Winona is next, but her foot is too small. Nonsense! It fits! The rest did the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, Prince Ufidgetubling and the King of Ufidgetublingham, known as 21 sweet singing. She hollered excitedly, Prince Ufidgetubling, is that you? She hollered excitedly, My dear daughter-in-law, 21 We found you, exclaims the King of Ufidgetublingham, and the glass slipper fits. 21 Prince Ufidgetubling and the King of Ufidgetublingham then lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrews Doers. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and introduce everything, etc. Take care. Bye. And now, Introduce Everything proudly presents 56 Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there lived a young woman named 56 Cinderella. 56 Cinderella had 8 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Sophia, Isabella, and Xavier. All 8 of them made 56 Cinderella do all the chores and watch her work. 56er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! Said Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Sophia, Isabella, and Xavier all together. One day, the king of Sex Queen Quadrant Tublingham's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, the king of Sex Queen Quadrant Tubblingham, his majesty, is going to throw a ball, and with lots of food. And after dinner at 10 o'clock, whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Sex Queen Quadrant Tubbling. Can I come? Asks 56 Cinderella. But she's not invited. her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Fatima. No way, Fatima, you're wrong. He's going to marry me, said Ivana. Both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me, said Verona. The rest say, all three of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. They even tear her 56erella's party dress. Later, at 8 o'clock at night, 56erella is distraught, sad, and upset doing chores about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Sex Queen Quadrigen Toppling. Suddenly, 56erella's very godmother arrives and comforts her. There now, 56erella, my dear. I can help with a bit of magic. And so, she waves her magic wand to do all the chores for 56erella. But she's not done yet. She says, 56erella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some ice. Luckily, 56erella has 56 pumpkins and 112 mice. 56erella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again. And to turn the 56 pumpkins into a handsome coach, the 112 mice into horses, and 56erella's fairy Rickles into gown and crown. 56erella says, I've never seen such a sex queen quadruple-tastic gown. Get it out of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? And climbs into the coach. 56erella's fairy godmother says, well, you can't. But have fun, 56erella. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will check back to the way it was before normal. And gives her a clock to tell her what time it is. It's 9 o'clock now. 56erella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of Sex Queen Quadrigen Tumlingham says, good evening, everyone. Prince Sex Queen Quadrigen Toppling was wondering who to marry. Isn't that right, son? In which Prince Sex Queen Quadrigen Toppling responds, yes, father, at 10 o'clock. 56erella arrives at the ball for the food first. Just in time! 56erella then sees Prince Sex Queen Quadrigen Toppling. Her mean, ugly, wicked stepsisters, Fatima to Xavier, say, he's walking towards me! All together. But Prince Sex Queen Quadrigen Toppling is not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards 56erella. After dinner, Prince Sex Queen Quadrigen Toppling then asks, may I have this dance? And so, 56erella responds, I would be delighted. 56erella and Prince Sex Queen Quadrigen Toppling dance happily together. But later, 56erella checks her clock. It's almost midnight! So, she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince Sex Queen Quadrigen Toppling was really worried that he might never see 56erella again. The king of Sex Queen Quadrigen Topplingham comforts him by saying, there now, son. I think we'll be able to find 56erella. And so, the king of Sex Queen Quadrigen Topplingham and Prince Sex Queen Quadrigen Toppling traveled all around the neighborhood to find 56erella and brought the 2 glass slippers with them. By the time they arrived, they knocked on the door of the home where 56erella and her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 56erella, they find her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Fatima to Xavier. Prince Sex Queen Quadrigen Toppling then says, ladies, my father The king of sex, queen, quadrilateral, and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on these 2 glass slippers? Fatima is first, but her feet are too big. Ivana is next, but her feet are too small. Nonsense! They fit! She said. The rest did the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, the king of sex, queen, quadrilateral tumbling, and the king of sex, queen, quadrilateral tumbling, Prince, known as 56 Aurela's sweet singing. Prince, sex, queen, quadrilateral tumbling, and your majesty, is that you guys? She hollered excitedly. The glass slippers fit! And 56 Aurela, the king of sex, queen, quadrilateral tumbling, and Prince, sex, queen, quadrilateral tumblingham lived happily ever after. The end. And Andrew's Doers, I hope this was a fun story parody. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything, and buy our merchandise at AndrewDoesEverything.com. And take care. Bye.